Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flicks Show. My name is Chris Wong. There are a couple news items that I want to talk about today, and this is kind of leading off from yesterday's little rant. Excuse me for that. Yes, I still believe in the DC Extended Universe, even through its ups and downs. I am there for the characters. I can't wait to see any of those DC characters on screen and have them interact with each other, fighting villains. It's just a true comic book brought to life for me. So that's my own opinion in any case. But it seems like I'm not the only one still believing in the DC Extended Universe. I know there's a lot of people out there, but this one in particular is Patrick Wilson. Patrick Wilson is in the Aquaman films, and he's still excited for the future of DC films. Patrick Wilson plays the main villain, Orm, or Ocean Master, in next year's Aquaman, set to come out in December. And he has a little bit something to say about the current situation and about his confidence of the DC films. He says, as they say, there are a lot of different ways to skin a cat, or to make a movie and a franchise. I can only speak on behalf of being an actor and having a relationship with the directors. As a fan, I sit back and see the choices that they make for directors, and they are very strong, focused, individual directors, and that takes confidence. It is easy to hire someone that is just a yes man, and they're certainly not, which is very exciting. And so this is very interesting, to say the least, on his comments. He, of course, is working with James Wan, who he has worked a lot of times in Insidious, Conjuring. He's been with James Wan. He's a good friend of his. So it's very good that he's praising James Wan here. And hopefully the movie turns out great. But what he says is interesting about very strong, focused individual directors. If you really think about it, going past the Joss Whedon, Zack Snyder thing, they did choose Zack Snyder, who had a strong vision, and when Zack Snyder was still on, he was creating something that's mostly to himself. Yes, they cut it up and threw it here and there, but most of that vision was still contained before Justice League. And you can also say that Patty Jenkins, even though they tried to cut out the No Man Land scene, it still had their vision on it. It still had their thing about it. They still have their vision of that director, even though they try to cut it up. And then you can say that James Wan, hopefully they're not going to go in an editing bay with him and let him complete his movie, show the cut that he wants to show, and put it out in theaters. Hopefully for that. And you can say that, you know, even Rick Famuyiwa, who had his own vision, but it just didn't work with Warner Brothers, that it was enough that he was going to walk away from it. Okay, so there are those issues as well. Of course, the production, Kevin Tsujihara, Toby Emmerich, John Berg, all that has changed around. And a lot of people can argue that, saying that Justice League was before the changes were made. So Justice League was before Wonder Woman. They were creating that before Wonder Woman. When Wonder Woman was released, this is the direction we're going to go in, and Justice League tried to catch up to it. Of course, that's not entirely true, because John Berg is no longer DC Films president, and Jeff Johns is more of an advisory role, according to that article anyway from Variety. But if this is all true, and they are really focusing on the directors and having that director's vision, and not just hiring someone who is a yes man, in which I think Joss Whedon was the yes man. He just went in there, he said yes, 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 and let me do my Batgirl. I'll do anything so I can direct Batgirl. I think that's really what it was. But aside from him, I think I still have a lot of confidence in the DCEU, and it seems like Warner Brothers still has confidence in the DCEU in order to just keep going with it, just going with Aquaman. David Sandberg gets to make his Shazam movie, and Wonder Woman 2, Penny Jenkins got a lot of money. She's able to make her Wonder Woman 2 movie. So that's a good sign that the power struggle is going back to the directors. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see by next month, see what happens in the restructuring of DC Films, and who's going to be the new DC Films president, and who's going to, hopefully, new Warner Brother execs on the top of Warner Brother Pictures. You know, get that Tsujihara guy out. On the same line of DC Extended Universe, Korea is releasing the digital HD version of the movie on December 19th. Yeah, they're already going to release Justice League the movie on December 19th. So if you're in Korea or you got those BitTorrents or whatever, you can probably download the whole digital movie file of Justice League. At least that's what they're saying. But the precursor to that is that they have released the first 3 minutes officially online of the Justice League film. And you can go ahead and watch that. That just covers the part where Superman shows up for the first scene in the movie is Superman talking to some firefighters, and some kids go up with a webcam video camera and they're interviewing him. Of course, that mustache CG, that lip thing is a huge problem in that whole scene. It's even more so when you get to watch it over and over and over and over, that it's very apparent that the smear they're trying to do, it just doesn't work. But I'd like to commend that in the way they brought that up makes sense. Okay, they want to show you a Superman probably during the timeline before, right after Man of Steel, and during the time he was get to be Superman before Batman v Superman, when the world started to question his motives. The world started to question his existence. And before that, we get to see parts on street level, I guess you could say, of how people see him. So a bunch of kids see him saving something or doing something, and they come and interview him, very innocent. This is the Superman that he was. So he's able to be that type of Superman. When you take away that happy Superman, maybe he's struggling inside, and that struggle is what we saw in Batman v Superman and possibly even Man of Steel. I'm not being an apologist. I'm just trying to, if you didn't know anything about the restructuring and the Joss Whedon coming in and doing the cuts, I mean, if you watched it just like that and you just said, this is how it is, this is what the cut is, they want to show you that he is that hopeful and optimistic character before he died, which makes a lot of sense for the audience, in which when they see him come back, they see him going back to that version of him, which is the opening scene of Justice League. And it cuts into Gotham City, and it shows the little Batman segment that Joss Whedon shot. But you know, I gotta admit, shot pretty well. There are some segments like the backflip and the slow motion that could have been Zack Snyder-y. Of course, that spinning thing that he does with the thing, it looked very much like Black Widow attacking somebody. So it has a mixture of that, and which is fine. It did its thing where it reintroduces Batman into the universe, reintroduces what he is trying to do, what kind of villain he's going to be dealing with, and then it leads off back into everybody knows intro to the movie. And so I think in parts of that, when there is this, aside from all the CG and all the bad CG, I think it works very well in that first segment throughout the whole intro. Alright, that's enough for the DC Extended Universe. There's going to be a lot more coming down as we head into January to figure out what's going to happen to Warner Brothers and DC Films, and what kind of structure are they going to be doing, or what's their future plans. But tomorrow's the day. Tomorrow is Star Wars The Last Jedi. It's coming out in theaters. I know a lot of you probably already seen it. I'm trying to not look. I'm sorry. I know I should be looking at your comments. I'll look at your comments after I've watched the movie tomorrow. Okay, so because I don't know who's going to be a dick out there and put spoilers. I have not been spoiled yet, and I refuse to be spoiled. So I have not even read or seen any reviews. Sorry, Sam, I've seen your link towards me. I did not get to see that yet. I want to go in super duper clean. So that will be tomorrow night, and it seems like it'll be a big box office weekend, because AMC actually added late night screenings just to compensate for all the people who want to buy more Star Wars Jedi tickets. It's been selling out, so that's amazing. And it's also been revealed that this movie could power up to $440 million on opening weekend for worldwide now, internet, overseas and domestic. I'm thinking it's about 200 here, 240 overseas, 440 altogether. That's a big opening. That's great. That's wow. You know, if you're saying that the people are not going to the box office, people are going to the box office this weekend for sure. Sadly, a lot of these showings like Justice League, Thor Ragnarok, and Coco, they're all going to be kind of dissipating as people try to fill more seats, fill more theaters with the Star Wars Last Jedi. So it'll totally decimate everything. But it's a good. I hope it's a good movie. I mean, I enjoy Star Wars. I can't wait to see this. I know there's a lot of twists and turns, and I can't wait to be surprised in the theater. Some jacknut better not be spoiling it as I'm using the bathroom or something. You know, I really hope I don't get spoiled up to the point in my seat. And that's it. And I'm clear, and I'm safe, and I get to enjoy it every minute with every popcorn. Maybe I won't take a drink because I do not want to use the bathroom and miss anything. So that will be tomorrow night. So instead of a show tomorrow night, I am going to release my second highly anticipated movie of 2018. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow night. I'll have it preloaded on my phone, and then I can just publish, and then you'll see it there. So anyway, so now is the time for my shameless, super shameless plug about my Patreon page. Hi, my name is Chris Wong, owner of the Ping Pong Flicks YouTube channel. I am a genre film enthusiast and love to discuss and speculate on films in the DC Extended Universe, the Monsterverse, Godzilla and Kong, the Cloververse, Power Rangers, and more. I mean, there is no shortage of controversy out there, but I generally see things half glass full. So having these positive lenses, I drive to pump positive vibes into these everyday stories and maybe offset the negativity these topics received. But most of all, I just love to talk about these films and hope others can join in my excitement and anticipation of the future of genre films. But these are my future plans. What started out as a temporary need to release my inner thoughts for the films I love has become a therapeutic hobby of passion. But as time goes on, I find myself wanting to do more. I mean, I want to do more with my channel and possibly grow it into a steady movie type show. I want to do movie news, podcasts, interviews, Ask Me Anything, and much, much more. Unfortunately, these new ambitions for this channel would require some work. So while your help would be appreciated, if you are a current viewer and wish to watch my videos freely, great! Your viewing of my videos every day alone is a huge reward for me, and I am deeply, deeply honored. But if you do wish to contribute, $2 a month, $5 a month, even $15 a month, every bit will go into supporting my future ambition in taking this channel to the next level. Maybe a full-time level, I don't know. Your contribution would go towards upgrading my tools to increase the quality of my videos, afford me more time, and add more content for the future. Alright, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. May the Force be with you always.